a moment. Hi, PP. Can't come up here. Right. Hi. Hi. How are you? We're still getting set up. Do I keep on the New Year's headband or not? We shall see. Okay. I gotta get a new microphone stand. Does this look right? Does this sound right? Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Red leather, yellow leather. Okay. It tells me welcome to my own chat. Remember to guard my privacy. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, y'all. Okay, hold on. I think I'm about to sneeze. Come on, damn it. If you know me, you know that I sneeze all the time. And normally it's in like 3, 6, and now I've been sneezing 7, 8, 9 times. So I jokingly say, like, whatever sneeze I'm on is the what timeline we're on. Is that better? Hold on. So professional. Is that that's real loud. Hold on. I need a whole new setup, guys. Okay. Let's get situated. How are we tonight? I need to do I'm sorry for the little jump. Thankful for those of you who have made the jump from the previous. Oh, am I putting this back on? Fuck, that hurts. Kind of hard to see. I think I'm gonna wear this tomorrow night. Okay. Let's take some notes for this episode. Getting into it, where I'm at thus far. Obviously, Barbara Walters died. That announcement just came within the last 20 minutes. Things I would like to talk about tonight. Obviously, like the Andrew Tate of it all. I didn't even know who that motherfucker was until yesterday. But let's break down that psyop. Let's talk about that and how I think it is just another. I'm going to start calling them Italian breadcrumbs because I don't know if I'm going to get shadow banned every time I say Pizzagate, but feels like an Italian breadcrumb in the Pizzagate saga. So we'll come to that. Talk about Kanye missing. Men coming out of the cobwebs. Like, I look at my notes sometimes and I was like, cobwebs, men. Like, what did you mean by this? We're going to talk about New Year's Eve, Friday night massages, the social sober club, how cringe I feel on the internet, dog hair, predictions for the winter. We're going to talk about Ghost. Ghost has been requested a number of times, and then I had kind of an experience tonight that I wanted to talk about. Strange things that occur at your home, reoccurring dreams, mushrooms, and light language. And then obviously, like anything that comes in between. I love it when you chat. Keep the chat live or keep it interesting. Now I have the ability to keep the chat on after the fact. So if you, whomever watches this later in time, can do a live replay of all of the classmates in the chat. I have 2.5 joints rolled. And I also have a bottle of champagne that I'm going to pop here in a second to get this party started. I tried to invite Nick Hinton to come hang out with us, but he did not respond to me. It's just, I literally am using like an old end table as this whole setup for myself. And I don't have a lot of room. Lordy, Lordy Maria. Lordy, Lordy. Okay. I'm getting situated with my blanket. Okay. Let's pop some bottles in anticipation of New Year's Eve. Let's talk about New Year's Eve as I do this. Where's that little tibby tab? Oh, Schwell. New Year's Eve is one of my favorite holidays. I love it. I met my first husband, my ex-husband. We started dating on New Year's. Actually, then left him some years later on New Year's. I don't know if I've told you guys that before. I'd been like thinking about leaving my husband for a while, and just woke up one day and said, I think today's the day. Happened to be New Year's Eve. It really wasn't intentional. Like, it wasn't. Something just happened. Hold on. My sound just went out. Hold on. What the fuck? Microphone. Hello? Okay, now we're back. That was weird. Okay. I'm not married. I was married. I got married in October 2012. And then I moved out New Year's Eve 2014. And then our divorce was final in 2015. But Oppa! Anyways, back to New Year's. I love New Year's. I always believe in like the possibility of New Year's, and it just holds this magic for me, and it never quite ends up the way that I wanted, but I believe in it every year. Like, I will post the scene from Forrest Gump. I'm so weird. I will post the clip from Forrest Gump tomorrow where the hooker and Lieutenant Dan's just like staring off into the distance, and she's like, don't you just love New Year's? I did that. That's a bad voice. Don't you just love New Year's? Everybody gets a second chance. Anyways, I fucking love New Year's. One day, my goal is to find the man I want to, find my man, elope in Vegas, have pictures of the Little White Chapel, and then eventually throw this like Studio 54 themed wedding reception on New Year's Eve, like whatever later in time that is, and just like throw the party I've always wanted. Anyways, cheers. When you do cheers, you have to make eye contact. I'm trying to like look exactly into the camera. And if you don't, you'll have 7 years of bad sex. So at some point, I did a really bad cheer. Where am I going to put this? No, I got married. I wasn't even really married for that long at all in October of 2012. And then he went to Afghanistan for 9 months. And then he came back, and then we had a wedding. And then it just didn't work, you know? We just didn't communicate. I had literally y'all would not even recognize that version of myself. I didn't know who I was. I still don't know who I am really, but that woman, she was just trying to find her way. And yeah, so I was married very briefly, and I met him on New Year's, and then I left his ass on New Year's. Like, literally, I called the moving guy, he showed up, and I was just like, "Hey, bye." Dun, dun, dun. That's the Sagittarius in me, I think. Anyways. This is Prosecco, Italian sparkling wine. We cannot call this a champagne because champagne only comes from Champagne, France, and La Marca is Italian Prosecco. A little lesson for you this evening. So, cheers. Love you. Mean it. I'm wondering, depending on how this goes, you know, I think there's such an interesting, let's take a sip. Hold on. I was thinking about this today, talking to my girl Cheney. There are these certain like stigmas or assumptions that I feel like we all make all the time that have no true basis in reality, but it's just something that we kind of think that everyone else is doing. So I decided to go live tonight. And don't get me wrong, like there are times that I take myself out, traditionally really not on Friday nights, but I do go out sometimes on Friday nights. But I think there's just, it's the weekend, baby. And I think all of us assume, I might be the loneliest person in Nashville, not doing anything really with anyone other than myself most of the time. And so I just kind of assume that everyone else has these like fun, hot, maybe wild Friday nights. And maybe that's just this kind of thing that comes from like college culture, or really the 9-to-5 psyop probably perpetuates it as well. All of this to say that I think we all think that everyone else is doing shit on Friday nights, when really, like, the new going out is really staying in. So maybe if this works, if you like it, if you respond well, if all 85 of you continue to come back, then maybe we'll have like a Friday night live hangout type thing. I don't know. You let me know what you think. Kind of like the idea of summer. Summer for me, like I think we all put it on this like pedestal, and because of like the way that like the scholastic calendar is for the person in school, but when it like as you become an adult, like summer really kind of sucks sometimes. Like it's hot and sticky, especially in a fucking suit. Ay, ay, ay. It's just, it doesn't have that. I'm not trying to say like je ne sais quoi, but it's like, I don't know. Summer just seems so sexy and fun. And I really like, I'm becoming a winter hoe. Not a hoe. Again, you gotta have sex to be a hoe. But, I don't know if you caught my stories. I'm gonna talk about this later. My weird line of what I find to be like cringeworthy for myself, but like I don't know what I'm supposed to like post and not post on a personal basis. Anyways, it was cold AF last week in the South, like down into the 0 to 10s, and Peyton's just funny, sorry. And I thrifted a couple of fur coats, and I love fur, and I'm not going to apologize for that. But I got this perfect one, and I wore it, and it was so cold, and I was just truly like the like mafia boss's wife. Like I say the mafia boss's wife, really I'm the mafia boss, but I felt like the mob boss, the mob wife that I always wanted to be. And so I love winter. I like being cold. A little cold-hearted. Little. But yeah, summer is a fucking psyop. Josh Krantz has it right. Summer is a psyop. In my dreamiest of dreams, yeah, I would do like a filet Friday, and I gotta wipe my nose, and I don't want to. Nose break. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, and my dreamiest of dreams, I would do what's called like filet Friday, which I probably wouldn't even cook a filet. I'd cook a ribeye, but like I come home, it's Friday night with my man. We're cooking steaks. We're like playing good music, drinking wine, dancing around the kitchen, smoking a little weed. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Why does no one want to have a filet Friday with me? And then I would go live with you guys? Only in the perfect world that I am creating for 2023. I'm going to allow the universe to surprise and delight me. I'm going to detach and dissociate from any expected outcome because, we can't attribute positivity and negativity to the universe, because then you're kind of getting into like a God discussion of like, you do something good, you think you'll be rewarded in some way for that. And I just don't really think that truly exists in the universe. The universe just reacts to whatever you think about or manifest the most. So we're going to put out Filet Friday for 2023. Okay. I'm going to take a little hit. We got some lip gloss for later. Is anybody burning with me? Somebody asked, what is my PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, Cash App? That's so fucking nice. Nobody's literally ever asked me that before. I don't have that stuff set up, but thank you. I don't have the super chat set up either, but thank you. I'm gonna bring the Patreon back. I was gonna talk about that later, but oh, Maria, I'm so sorry, guys. I did not mean to blow into the microphone. We can talk about that at the end, or maybe now. I don't know. I'm going to create a Patreon and do a little more inside stuff there. Because I was thinking about, I teeter on this line of like what I'm supposed to share personally, and I'm really the weirdest, strangest person in the world, and I take so much content that I don't even post, and I end up sending to like Cheney or literally no one. It just dies on my phone. So at one point I was thinking about maybe I could do like a close story list, and then if you were on that list, I could do close story post, and you could see some of my like me being more weird or me posting things I'm buying at the thrift store, just anything beyond the conspiracy veil. So I don't know. I might tie that into a Patreon type situation with like a special chat. Anyways, we will get to that. We'll do some housekeeping stuff at the end. We're going to talk about the Patreon. We're going to talk about the Sober Social Club that is happening in January. And yeah, go from there. So without further ado, welcome back. It's episode 106 of the mymaria777 podcast. This is your fearless leader, Maria. We are here. We are live. It's Friday night. And we're just here to fuck it up, baby. I don't know about you. Breaking news. It is December 30th, 2022. And while I was preparing for this podcast, Barbara Walters was announced dead. I do not know any circumstances of her death, but recently I had seen a couple of TikToks that discussed how she's really not that great of an interviewer and that she's very like unsympathetic and asked very like cutting questions in such a way. I don't know. Obviously, like I find that I have some sort of interviewing skills or I wouldn't be here. And so I think that there is a way to extract information where you don't have to be like as obvious and blunt about it. I don't know. It was showing some clips of like times in the past where she had interviewed like Britney and some other child stars or Drew Barrymore when she was very young and just wasn't it wasn't it. I wanted to say like it ain't it, but that I needed the past version of that. So, yeah, that bitch is dead. She was probably a reptilian, vril, Illuminati handler of someone, right? Like, do we know any shit about old Barbie Walters? Because I don't know anything off the top of my head, but bye, Felicia. Bye, Barb. See you later, girl. Okay. I did a little live yesterday. Was it yesterday, I think? I had some time to kill. And news about Andrew Tate was just breaking that he had been arrested. And I said in my live that I did yesterday, it was a little episode of Let's Be Blunt. If you haven't seen an episode of Let's Be Blunt, every once in a while I go live on Instagram and I call those little episodes Let's Be Blunt because normally, or I guess it started when I was going to Knoxville to visit my mom and I was sitting outside on the porch and it was still nice outside and I was smoking weed. Anyways, I do these from time to time. You should go check them out. This last one I wasn't smoking because I was waiting for an appointment that I was early to. All of that to say, at the time, Andrew Tate was breaking. And in that moment, approximately 5 o'clock yesterday, I had heard this guy's name before, but I did not know anything about him. I knew that he was associated. I kind of just knew of some like little tiny associations, but if you had asked me what he did, like what he was famous for, I would not have been able to tell you. And to be quite honest, I still don't really know what to tell you. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, it's on my damn computer. There's a little blip. I thought it was on my face. Wah, wah. Okay. Anyways, Andrew Tate is 36 years old. He is an American British social media personality, businessman, and former professional boxer. Following his kickboxing career, he began offering paid courses and memberships through his website and later rose to fame as an internet celebrity. His misogynistic commentary has resulted in his suspension from several social media platforms. Oh, I think that's right. He had been banned on Twitter, maybe, and I think that Elon had just brought him back. Is that correct? So this guy's a boxer turned influencer turned like little baby, like he seems like a baby back bitch to me, if you want me to be honest. Now, don't get me wrong. I am looking for a man who exudes alpha energy. But let me tell you, that man, that alpha man that I'm going to meet one day and is going to eventually wipe my wife, my ass up, he will never tell me that he's alpha. Like, he's never gonna walk in here and talk about his alpha energy. Now, don't get me wrong, like, I understand that there are internet personalities. I am an internet personality here talking to you at this very moment. But I don't know. If you gotta, like, come in here and, like, swing your little dick and talk about how alpha you are, like, that just ain't it. A true alpha male wouldn't do that, in my opinion. And so I saw some videos that are being, like, posted about some of the, like, the content he produced and, like, very kind of misogynistic content. Like, one of them was a woman who he was asking her to do something, and he was asking for her to do it very specifically, and she was not doing it very specifically, or she was not doing it in the manner in which he specified, and then they were bantering back and forth, and then this turned into, like, him being, like, verbally degrading, and then he's eventually, like, pushing her face down, blah, 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 blah. And so a bunch of internet commenters are posting stuff like that, and then I see a bunch of commenting in response saying, she was into it, this was consensual, it turns her on, blah, 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 blah. Personally, like, I like role play with the best of them, but I don't wanna personally be like, you can talk some shit to me, but, like, I don't want that type of, like, degradation, and that I don't see how that's a turn on. I guess it is a turn on to some people, but to make that, like, your entire personality trait just ain't it for me. So, I don't know. Obviously, there are people that consume his content, who like his content, but, I think you can be an alpha man who likes to role play and not be such a misogynistic asshole. But you know what? I'm single as fuck, and I can't, get a date to save my life, so what do I know? Maybe Andrew Tate's got it right. Just kidding. As I told you literally 5 minutes ago that I don't think the universe positively or negatively awards anything to any individual, I do think it plays with me a little bit. You know? I do think it plays with me a little bit, but even that, like, I've had like, things that I could have done, dates I theoretically could have gone to, people I could have fucked, I guess, if you will, but, I do feel like the universe, while it is cock blocking me, they are experiences that ultimately would likely be unrewarding. But sometimes I'm just like, "Can I just play a little bit, universe?" Anyways, back to Andrew Tate. So, in April 2022, there are 2 models, quote unquote models, who, and I don't know the exact specific details of this, but make a report to authorities in Romania that they were physically, sexually assaulted by 2 British brothers. I don't know any of the stuff that's happened between then and now because, again, Andrew Tate wasn't, on my radar whatsoever until yesterday. So I know that I think the allegations that had been made, that there had perhaps been, like, a response to them, but yesterday or the night before, I'm unsure on the exact timeline. Excuse me. Andrew Tate tweets at Greta Thunberg, what is her name? And I'm trying to pull up the exact tweet. I should probably have this up for you already, but I didn't, or I don't. Okay. He tweets at Greta Thunberg, "I have Note for the record, 33 cars. My Bugatti has blah, 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 quad turbo. My 2 Ferraris, blah, 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 V12s. This is just the start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions. So first off, like, how dare you? Secondly, like, this is like the littlest dick energy in my life. Don't get me wrong. I'm an internet troll. I love to troll people. I love to post things provocatively just to piss you guys off sometimes. So I am here for trolling, but like little dick Andrew Tate coming out here and like it's one thing to troll as an intellectual. It's another thing to troll as like like a fucking Napoleon complex, you know? So coming out here saying I have 33 cars. Immediately for me, I see the 33 and I'm like, okay, this is a psyop in some way. This is some sort of magic, some sort of spell. Like, you know better than to like this is on the nose. But to then go and like boast about this, like this is so silly. This is so stupid. Blah 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 blah. Anyways, Greta Thunberg responds and says, "Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com." And you know, like as a quote unquote alpha man, like I don't know. I think it's funny when I just saw something in the chat about me censoring someone on YouTube. I definitely haven't done that. Anyways, I think it's funny when like you come in here and like he clapped back at her saying like, "Oh, you do have a dick. Like that is your email address." And it's just like, "Really, man?" So, in response to that, he makes this 2-minute video that I did not watch. I don't intend on watching, but sits down at his big round table, has 2 pizza boxes in front of him, has some sort of conversation with the camera. And this is why it seems such like bullshit to me, because especially if I was of his caliber, of his like net worth, if I had the ability to have the like kind of security that he did, especially like when I was anonymous, you guys, like there would be times when I would take a picture of something, I would post it, and then there's something about like I don't know. I rewatch my story sometimes just to like attempt to like have an objective perspective of like what this is for someone else experiencing it. And often I will post something and I immediately like switch into that like thought process to be the consumer, and that's when I see my fucking typos all the time and I'm just like, okay, we fucked this up immediately. We got to fix this. But those are the also times when I would look and be like, "Oh shit, Maria, like you cannot post this." There is like one time I accidentally posted a UPS package and you could see the routing number and somebody searched it and like found the address that it was being delivered to and saw my name and they were like, "Hey, you need to take this down." So, I am so hyper aware of those things and I am not cool or in danger, or nobody's like trying to necessarily like attack me other than my current stalker at this moment, and I would have seen that and been immediately like, "Holy shit," like especially if I'm on the run, I don't know. So, he posts this video. There are 2 pizzas in it. In Romania, of all places, is a chain called Jerry's Pizza. Evidently, there are a number of those in the region. And the story goes that allegedly there was a search warrant that existed, and supposedly per Romanian law that they could not execute this search warrant unless the individual who owns the home was in country in the home. I don't find that to be that credible, in my opinion. Obviously, I don't know Romanian law, but I don't think you would need all of those checks. But that's how the story goes. And so when when somebody saw the video with Jerry's Pizza just down the street, in the city that he was in, allegedly that was enough for probable cause to get a new search warrant, to get it executed, and the Romanian cops show up. He gets arrested on counts of human trafficking and he goes to jail. My first initial thought, I am not going to be an Andrew Tate apologist. I'm not an apologist for anyone. I am not here to defend anyone. I do not know what this motherfucker has done. And truly, at the end of the day, I don't care. But I immediately know that, like, this is some sort of psychological operation. This is some sort of distraction, false flag when we have someone that's actually like there is justice being served in regards to human trafficking, like in regards to like trafficking in general. If he was an actual human trafficker, the elite would be protecting him. If he was an actual human trafficker, like the politicians would not want him to be picked up. He would be in the inside crowd. So immediately, nah, dog. Like, hold on, I gotta fix my hair. Nah, dog. Like, that ain't it for me. I do not believe that, like, whatsoever. You mean to tell me that yesterday was the anniversary of Ghislaine Maxwell being sentenced? Either being found guilty or sentenced. I think maybe found guilty now that I think about it. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Either her guilt or her sentencing occurred 1 year ago yesterday. And so she allegedly went to jail for helping traffic a bunch of children to people that don't exist. And so we have no justice whatsoever from that saga. We have none of the people to whom the children were trafficked that came out of that. But now all of a sudden we have Andrew Tate. Nah, dog. I think everything's fake. But if I'm going to evaluate this on any sort of just like normal-esque basis, then like it doesn't all add up. You know what I mean? All right, let's take a sip break and then we're probably going to smoke again. Hold on. I just love Prosecco. I love it. I love it. I love it. Happy New Year, class. Happy New Year, you little fools. Okay. Okay. Time for another little puff, puff, pass. And then we'll finish Andrew Tate and then move on to something. Anything else? Are you going to join the Sober Social Club with us? I'm not going to drink, but ooh, smoking weed is going to be hard to stop. I'm going to do the weed unless it like detrimentally affects my sleep. And then I'm going to say, sorry guys, but I will continue with the alcohol. Faux show. For sure. Okay, a couple more things on Andrew Tate. A couple more things. Also, while we're taking hits and waiting for me to continue, I would love to know like all of your New Year's superstitions and like any old wives' tales that you have. Love it. I would love it. Okay. Now we need to talk about. So, back to Andrew Tate. If you pay attention to me whatsoever, which I hope that you do if you're here and you're listening and you're watching, I have been saying for a little minute that they're leaving breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs. And I've seen movement for some time that I think, okay, I'm all over the place. I apologize. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to present this. Everything is a loop, okay? One of the most basic loops we can talk about, one in which we experience at all times, is the 4-year presidential loop, which is so interesting to me, the way that like the celebrity that has occurred of the executive. You know, if the government were to work the way that it was designed to work, it would probably be very lovely, and the checks and balances are there, and the power is spread across 3 branches of the government to equally protect you and me. But at some point, the executive became not vilified. The executive like was put on a pedestal, and then the advent of like the 24-hour news cycle, we look and we talk about the president every single fucking day, when in reality, like, he doesn't really do a great deal of things that like affect you or me on a daily basis. And he doesn't, obviously there's been this like huge expansion of power. If things were the way that they were supposed to be, and the executive wasn't like abusing executive orders or executive power, or just like coming out and saying like student loans are going to be forgiven, then he wouldn't truly be able to do anything that affects you as much. Okay, where was I going with this? Okay, yes, I know now. So, presidential loop. We've now taken this elected position, we've taken the celebrity of the presidency, and so not only is the news cycle obsessed with what the president is doing on an everyday basis and then either putting them on a pedestal or vilifying them depending on what like channel you're watching, we also have to go through this like loosh loop of like the 4-year cycle of the election as well. And so we are about to go into primary season, especially cranking up now in early 2023. People will begin announcing that they are running for office, because once they make that announcement, they can formally begin fundraising. And the primary season is going to crank up. In my opinion, for a great deal of time, we have seen breadcrumbs that suggest to me that they're going to take the Trump versus Clinton from 2016, excuse me, and we are going to see that again now in 2024. For me, there were a number of indicators, but the big ones are Pizzagate and Q being back, because this plays into this whole like establishment versus like, even though Trump is the establishment, he was personified as he wasn't. It's just back into this like establishment versus Trump, this, complete corruption of the government over here, and then this like promise of the proverbial draining of the swamp. All of this stuff that was centered around the Pizzagate narrative that came in, that then Q jumped on And it was all like here, and it all is like inextricably intertwined with justice, with accountability, with like the idea of the Constitution, like the idea of this like patriot, but then also all this like pedophilia and human trafficking and organ trafficking and celebrity and politicians and money. And it was just this. I say sometimes when I think about psyops, or not psyops, excuse me, when I think about the never ending rabbit holes that we discuss, I think Pizzagate is a never ending rabbit hole. And it's almost like, a 1,000-piece puzzle, that they have removed like 25% of the pieces. But we don't know that. We think we have all 1,000 pieces, and we keep trying to put the puzzle together, and we keep trying to make it work, but we're missing some of these key pieces. And the point is, we're always going to be missing some of these key pieces because they were never going to be disclosed to us. So I think Pizzagate is a never-ending rabbit hole. I don't ever think it was supposed to be solved. I think that Q is a part of this. So like all of these breadcrumbs seem to be suggesting that like it's going to be about Trump versus Clinton again. It's going to be about saving the children. It's going to be about exposing pedophilia and corruption. And I just think we're about to go on that same fucking train ride that we went on before. And then Q started posting again, and it's going to be this trust, daddy's coming situation. And I don't think nobody's coming to save us. And I keep talking about the Pizzagate references. I keep showing you how on the nose this is. And now for this like seemingly like for the Andrew Tate apologist out there, they think that he was a good guy. They think he was on the team. They think he was like so close and he was talking about everything being a psyop and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's all well and good. Like, you don't think there's ever going to be somebody that talks like we do that like isn't trying to infiltrate or isn't trying to like divert the narrative or pervert the narrative or just like pretend they're a good guy when there aren't any good guys other than like you and me. So for the like, hold on, we gotta zhuzh up again. So for this event to happen, centered around 33 vehicles, talking about climate change, boasting about your small dick fucking energy, and then for the coup de grace to be like the straw that broke the camel's back to be then a fucking pizza box. Like, don't be that person that comments on my post and says like, oh, Maria, can nobody eat pizza anymore? Yes, you can eat as much pizza as you want. I remember the day when I used to fucking eat pizza and I would post it on my stories and people would like say that I was part of the club just because I fucking posted pizza. I am the first person to tell you that symbolism, that numbers, that like anything, pictures, like butterflies and fucking evil eye, like I talk about that. I don't find that anything has an inherently good or bad meaning. Like 666 is not inherently bad. Butterflies are not inherently bad. Like everything has the ability, the polarity to be good or bad, positive or negative. It's all about the viewer and the observation. So, yes, do all of us still eat pizza? Fucking for sure. Does that mean that we're connected in any way to Pizzagate? No. But for a box of pizza in the context of all of this shit to be what takes an individual down, like, don't tell me that that doesn't mean anything, okay? I'm not saying that pizza is inherently one way or the other, but we have to be aware, we have to observe, we have to discern what we see because symbolism will be their downfall. And you've got to be able to like recognize what's happening right in front of you. Like, even if you don't know what it means, you could still like suck Andrew Tate's dick if you want, but observe that this seems to be a Pizzagate reference in it all. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Is it a psyop? For sure. Time for another sip. If you have heard me talk about Kanye before, we can also talk about how Kanye's former business manager has come out and said he's been missing for weeks, but I think somebody just posted in the chat and said Jeffree Star has said something about the Illuminati. And obviously, like, I'm all here for breaking the matrix. I'm all here for accountability, exposing the simulation, showing people what's really going on. But I am also aware that whomever they are would also. What the fuck? Hello? Okay, I gotta stop pulling on that. I messed something up again. Whomever they are also going to try to take people to create a character and then paint people like you and me in this negative way. So, am I somebody that's going to be like, oh my God, like Kanye is doing this, that, and the other for us? No, like he's controlled op, he's part of it. I think it's very intentional what they're doing, very intentional what he's saying about Zionism, Jews running the world, Hitler, blah, blah, blah bullshit. Like, he's sprinkling truths that are then wrapped in untruths, and they're creating this like schizo. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not necessarily a character, but it's this whole idea of this individual that might be into Q, might still support Trump, might be someone who would have gone to January 6th, somebody who believes that the elections were fake. They're painting this character, and that if the Democrats are, again, it's not about Democrats and Republicans, but if they were to have their way in the fake politics of it all, they wouldn't be able to take people like you and me and cast us into that light based on the type of things that we talk about, based on the type of things that we Google, based on the type of things that we find to be interesting. They're trying to pervert. So to see Kanye come out, to see Andrew Tate say that everything is a psyop, to see Jeffree Star come out and say something about the Illuminati, okay, great. That doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I don't find that there are any good guys. I think if anyone is a good guy, it's you and me. If anyone is currently in power or some sort of celebrity, I don't trust you. I don't trust them. And so I don't find there to be like, if there's a shining white knight out there, like, what are you waiting for? But this, I don't know. This isn't it for me. Not it for me at all. So even the intentional overt Illuminati reference seems intentional and overt. And I'm still of the opinion that, like, if anything is said mainstream that like gains traction, then I think it's allowed to be said. You know, like, even in the context of like, and I need to like knock on wood, like, I'm not shadow banned right now, and I like wonder like why. Like, I've been shadow banned for years. Thankfully, I've been like growing amazingly in the last couple of days, and I'm so grateful. Like, if you're a new listener, fucking welcome to the class. We're very strange here, but it's all, I don't know. I just wonder why things are the way that they are. To end this discussion on this misogynistic prick, hold on. Let's see if we're missing anything. Oh, this also feels like a humiliation ritual to me. Like, either he's getting inducted to like the big boys club and like this is the penance that he has to pay, or I saw somebody argue online that maybe this is how he gets replaced, like his clone comes in now. But he was found in like Voluntari, Romania, which looks like volunteer. Like, we're here for like the names that, like, I don't know, that's just so on the nose for me. Like, you're getting picked up in volunteer, Romania. Nah, dog. Okay. And let's see. I think there was like one other thing I wanted to say. Just feels kind of like a humiliation ritual. Oh, Jerry's Pizza, that place that we were talking about. Who the fuck is Jerry in Romania? Jerry put out this poster. You need to go to my Instagram to look at it. And it was a symposium that occurred December 16th through 17th. And I want to say maybe Bucharest. The symposium symbolism is an eye, and the eye inside is a swirl. And we know that that means something in the FBI, sex trafficking symbolism. And then there's a pizza that's upside down like a triangle. And the pizza looks gross and strange. But like, get the fuck out of here. You have all the overt, like, Pizzagate, sex, FBI symbolism. Just so on the damn nose. Oh, I forgot this one part. Okay. You cannot make this up. Last year, Romanian authorities were urged to effectively prosecute human traffickers by the group of experts against trafficking human beings. Do you want to know what the acronym is for that? Even though it doesn't phonetically make sense, they call it Greta. The Romanian authorities were urged last year to effectively prosecute human traffickers by Greta, the group of experts against trafficking human beings. And then Greta Thunberg was involved in this. Y'all, stop it. Just fucking stop it. There ain't no way this isn't fake as fuck. Fake as fuck. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about it. It's obviously a psyop. I don't know what they're distracting us from. That's really the conversation we should be having. But do I think that Andrew Tate is some white hat? No. Should you be sucking his dick? No. Do we care what he had to say? No. Is he part of the psyop? Yes. I thought I was really funny when I said this yesterday, and then literally nobody commented on it. But when I found the Greta thing, and I was just like, y'all, I'm done. I'm done talking about this. I said I wanted to Pontius Pilate him, which I thought was so funny because it means I want to wash my hands of him, because that's what Pontius Pilate did for Jesus. One of my little pop culture podcasts that I like, when they don't want to talk about somebody anymore, they call it, like, they China them. And I kind of copy some of their ideas sometimes. So I was thinking, like, what could I use as a word to China something? And I was like, oh, well, Pontius Pilate his ass. Nobody thinks I'm funny. But you know what? I think that I'm funny, and that's truly all that matters to me. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. Let's go back to my list. This is literally the most random thing in the world. We're moving on. I feel as though I looked at the Farmer's Almanac and it said that we were going to have a hard winter. I want to report on my dog. I want to see if anybody else feels the same way. But Peyton is like literally the most perfect, beautiful baby in the entire world. But his only fatal flaw is that he sheds like a motherfucker everywhere, all day long. I can make a new dog every day from his shedding. In addition to his normal shedding, he's got clumps of hair coming off, especially around like the legs and the hind area. And so, in just my weird thoughts and observations on the weather, doesn't that suggest to you that we are going to have a rather mild winter? If the dog's hair is naturally falling out at this time, I asked my mom about it. She has 2 red bone hounds, and it was happening to one of them as well. So I was wondering if anybody had observed, their dog's hair falling out like me, and, perhaps the farmers thought it was going to be a hard winter. 3 eyes in the chat is saying maybe the chemtrails create the winter. I don't know. I'm just wondering that it's not going to be quite that cold, even though we literally had a polar vortex last week where a great deal of the United States went down into like the low teens. I think it's so interesting. I heard in like all of the talk last week on the polar vortex and all the weather talk that some wind from Siberia had basically jumped through the jet stream and was coming down into the United States and caused like those almost sub-zero temperatures that we had. Isn't that just interesting to consider that like this wind jumped through the jet stream and it was that cold and it has the ability to retain that cold across thousands of miles. I have all sorts of thoughts on the wind. Ones in which I am not prepared to discuss at this time. Human Vibration and I have discussed the wind at length in the past, but I have some like really strange thoughts on the wind. Like I was talking to my mom today, and now she comments on Maria's stuff because she like pays attention to it. She doesn't listen to this, but she was like, I saw something that you posted recently and it was really out there, Maria. And I was like, well, what was it? And she couldn't really recall. She just remembered thinking like, she was like, I saw that and I thought to myself, like, damn, my daughter's been smoking. And I thought to myself, like, yes, I have been smoking, but I really have been smoking a great deal less than normal. Especially because I forgot to pick up my like weed plug before I went out of town for Christmas. And I literally had nothing, so I hardly smoked weed at all. And I just was like, well, Mom, actually I haven't been smoking that much. So whatever weird thing that you heard me talk about was just probably me sober writing about it. So this is just your daughter, baby. We didn't get to record our podcast together yet, but we're going to do it in 2 weeks for her birthday. And I think it's going to be super, super interesting. I haven't told her any of the questions yet, but you guys, I did like a little question box on my stories on Insta, and you did some really interesting questions for her. She was in the dental industry, or she was a hygienist for 20 years. She's still in the dental industry, but I want to talk to her about like wisdom teeth and fluoride, but then to just also get her perspective on conspiracy theories during her lifetime. Anyways, she's insane. You'll love it. It'll be a hoot. All right. We've talked about Andrew Tate. We've talked about Kanye missing. Oh, it's Friday night, baby. And I just got to say, I've been getting massages on Friday nights. I got a 90-minute massage tonight, and it's truly just peak existence to like get really high and then go get a massage. Ooh, ooh, baby. Y'all got to do it. You got to treat yourself. I get a massage twice a month, and it's chef's kiss. Funny thing about it is I gotta slow down. Okay. I like if I want a deep massage. I want you to like break my back. And I used to think that men had the ability to do that because they're obviously stronger. And I used to go to men all the time, and I always felt like it wasn't like the deep massage that I wanted. And finally I transitioned to a woman, and I told her, I was like, girl, do your thing. Just like have at it. And that bitch really tried to break me. Females are where it's at. Like, it wasn't until a female touched me that I really had a deep tissue massage. So, just something for you to know. But now I go see my girl Kim all the time. God damn it. Fuck. Okay, guys, I gotta go get a bear rag. I just spilled my champagne on my. Damn it, Maria. Hold on. I really fucked this up. We had a good thing going. Lord. I'm a fucking hot mess. Okay. Be right back. This is your bathroom break. You have permission to leave class. We're back. I'm so sorry. Oh, this is not cute. Sadly, there goes my 2 joints. But I guess I will have some champagne flavored joints tomorrow. Ay. Where were we? Cheney, are you still working? Oh, we lost 20 people. Damn. Couldn't even wait for your girl. A little bit. Damn it. All right. At least we didn't spill the whole bottle of champagne. We're on a roll. What were we talking about? Cheers. Ooh, losing even more people. Ay, ay, ay. Cheney, you said I need a tree fort type little kid question. What kind of question is that? Well, now it's time to roll another J. I am almost out of my I gotta slow down. My heart is racing. Like, serenity now. Serenity now. Serenity now. What is my favorite color? Black. Black, black, black. Black is my signature color. If you know that reference. Oh, I think I was just saying that women know how to do a good deep tissue massage. Anyways. Peyton, you need to lay down. What can we talk about? Let's talk about something light while I roll a joint so I don't trip myself up. Oh, you know what we could talk about? Speaking of my massage. Dude, go lay down. He wants to lay on top of my cords. Get on out of here, dog. Okay, so I had a request to talk about Ghost. I don't know where I was. I guess maybe it was on my live yesterday that somebody asked me. They were like, "Can we talk about Ghost?" And that person had asked about Ghost, I think, in the question game that I did. And I had this intention tonight, thinking about Ghost, that was something that we were going to talk about tonight. What I found interesting in the synchronicity of it all was that I go to my 90-minute massage tonight, and I've been going to see my girl for probably 2 years now or so. And we used to always be silent, but now we kind of talk when she gives me a massage, if I'm feeling it. And tonight she took it to a place where she talked about conspiracy all on her own. And I found that to be very interesting. I eventually told her about Maria later in the massage. But she also took it into a ghost conversation. And I found that so ironic because I had gone into the intention of talking about ghosts. Sometimes I take notes on the notes app, and then sometimes I just text myself. Anyways, sometimes I'm so dumb. Sometimes I just text myself, and I put on here ghost before we went into that massage. So she brings up ghost. Anyways, she shares her ghost experience, and I thought I would share some of my weird experiences tonight that I also shared with her. So, I lived at this house, and it's actually in the neighborhood that it's a neighborhood I grew up in. My grandmother lived in this neighborhood. Oh man, this thing got stuck. I've lived in 3 different houses in this neighborhood, in this same neighborhood where I own property. So we lived there when I was young, and the house that we lived in was on the top of this hill. And there were always very strange things that occurred at this house. I just remember, like, we discussed that, like, because it was at the top of this hill, that had it almost, like, got hit by lightning often, and the power went out often there. But I have a very distinct memory, one in which I will talk to my mother about when we podcast. But a very distinct memory that my brother and I were playing hide and go seek, and my mom had people over, like her best friend and her best friend's husband, and I want to say we actually weren't playing hide and go seek. I think we were maybe playing sardines, like the one where you have to like find where everyone is hiding, and so everybody was kind of running around, and there were some other kids there. And I go through our living room, and I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't think I've told this part of the story before, but we grew up Catholic. So I go through the living room and I see a ghost. And I remember it just as it happened yesterday. And at the time, I was so scared and it like freaked me out. But then I also was like very matter of fact about it. And I thought it was Jesus at the time. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't believe in Jesus anymore. So I'm not sure what it was. Uh, but I told my mom, like, I saw a ghost and, like, maybe it was Jesus. I don't know. I remember drawing it for her and, like, her and my dad and, like, uh, my mom's friend and her husband there. But, that was my first ghost experience. Now, this plot of land that we lived on was so interesting as well because it literally had, like, imagine a headstone. Headstone's right here, and somehow it gets knocked over, and there's literally just, like, this much of the headstone left. That like, we had a cemetery in our side yard, and my parents always called it an Indian burial ground. I don't know if there were true Indians that were buried there or what, but I wanna say there were at least 4 or 6 headstones in the side yard. And I used to be very morbid and very a little Wednesday-esque at times, saying that, like, I thought we should dig them up on Halloween, but I really feel like there was some, like, strange juju going on that plot of land, because additionally, you might have heard this story. I feel I've told this story on the podcast before. My brother had this green dinosaur, probably about this big. And he was very rudimentary, like a very basic toy. And all the toy did, it was just like its eyes lit up red and it roared. And the roar was very distinctive and it scared me at the time, at this age. I don't recall exactly what age this was, but I was young enough to be scared by a dinosaur toy, which is so fucking stupid in retrospect. If only little Maria knew then what she knew now. Dinosaurs are probably not real. Okay. I did not like this toy. Now, this toy had a little flip flap in the back where I believe you put 2 or 4 of the small circular batteries. So, being the mean sister that I was in the games that we play with our siblings, and I did not like this dinosaur. I knew that if I removed the little back and I took out the batteries, those are very, they're not highly sought after, but it's not one that you traditionally just have extras in the junk drawer. Not double A, not triple A. So I just knew that if I got rid of those batteries, that the dinosaur would no longer roar. Chip chop. Got it done. I fucking threw those batteries away. I got rid of the backing for it, and that dinosaur could no longer roar. Now it's one weekend. My dad's out of town. It's storming like crazy. Terrible, terrible storm. The power goes out at our house. My mom calls my brother and I into her room. We light the candles. We turn on the kerosene lamps. We're scared. All of a sudden, we start hearing this noise. It's faint at first, but it's growing and growing. And they're obviously like, when the power goes out and that kind of like electrical hum that exists that we don't ever acknowledge unless the power goes out, that drops and you finally hear sound the way you want to hear sound. So there are no sounds going on at this town but this roaring. I don't really know it's a roar at first. We just hear something. So my brother's younger than me. My mom says, Maria, you must go find what's going on while I stay here with your brother. So I do. And I go into my brother's room because that's where the noise is coming from. And I go through the toy chest. And what is making the noise but that fucking dinosaur? That green dinosaur, and his eyes are lighting up. And he's roaring. And he has no batteries inside of him. How is that possible, my friend? I did not make that up. This is a real story. I immediately took that motherfucker and I threw him. I screamed and yelled for my mom and showed it to my mom. And then I threw that fucking thing out into the woods and we never saw or heard from it again. So there's that. Is that some sort of buildup of electricity? Is that some sort of, I swear this land, there's something with it. There's something about this whole plot of land, the neighborhood. Is there electromagnetism there? Was I messing with myself from the future to wake myself up a little bit? I don't know. I used to see things though when I was there, things that I thought were there but weren't there. And I was a very honest child at that time. So they were things I was just like, Mom, what's going on? What is that? And I was seeing something that they weren't seeing. Now, during this time, I have memories of being in that house and being in my room. And in that specific room, I used to have a reoccurring dream. And I can't really describe it for you, but I can see it. And I think that there was some sort of man involved that I used to see in this dream. And this dream would happen every couple of years. Has not happened in a very long time. But this is a strange thing. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. So I'll have to tell me. I'm always wondering, if I've ever actually had a unique experience. The advent of TikTok has told me that I don't know that there is any such thing as a unique experience. But I am one to visualize, what is that? I don't even know it's not like a phobia, like an IA type thing, or it's not it's some sort of fancy name where when you look at something or like an animal or an object and you like imprint like a feeling into it or like a face into it. Does it make sense to anyone? I don't know. It has some sort of fancy terminology, but I find like I don't know. I'm just gonna say it, I guess, instead of just trying to fucking beat around the bush. This house had like real wood, I think paneled, maybe I had paneled walls. No, I had real wood crown and it was unpainted. And so in the crown molding, there were what am I trying to say? Like the black spots in the wood. I don't know what those are called. Maybe they weren't burn marks, I guess, just black spots in the wood. And I would like make pictures out of them and like make faces out of them. And like I told a story with all the like black spots on the wood on the crown around my room. I do that. This is so strange. When I put my hair on the wall, when my hair falls out in the shower, I see pictures of my It's something I did as a child, so carry on. Anyways. I just had this reoccurring dream, and when I did mushrooms for the first time, I had this out of body experience when I was sleeping where I felt as though all these people were laughing around me, and I realized that they were like the other versions of myself, and they were like mocking me for like it took me so long to wake up this time. But then, in addition to that, there's in that mushroom experience, there was some sort of song that was sung. And if I heard it, I could point it out to you, but I can't like formulate the words to describe it. I almost feel as though if you've ever heard light language, it seems like light language. But in my mushroom trip, it was the song I sang to myself to wake myself up, which is just crazy to think about. And in that mushroom trip, when I was remembering the song and singing the song and experiencing it, it took me back to being in that room and like making the story with the black spots on my crown molding. So, whatever the fuck that means. I don't know. There was a lot of weird stuff that happened at that house. I don't know that I've necessarily had like another ghost experience really thereafter. Now, that's ghost in the like very denotative expectation of like something outlined in white and colorless, like that type of ghost. Okay. That was the most ghost experience I've ever had. In my adulthood, in the wake of like death that I have experienced, I find that I experience synchronicity that I attribute to like my dead nana or my dead stepdad. So I distinguish that from a ghost. I don't know. It's kind of different. It feels different. Sometimes I wonder though, like, what is a ghost? What is like, I'm not the individual who believes in the traditional afterlife. I'm not the individual who believes in the traditional God and Satan and heaven and hell. I want to tell you that I believe in like, the second law of thermodynamics and that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So I think if you die in this existence, your energy has to go somewhere. And I think I believe in the multiverse and reincarnation and blah, blah, blah bullshit. All of that to say, what if like there was like a energy that got blocked, What if you didn't want to move on, but you were separated from your physical body? What if a ghost, not every ghost, but what if a ghost was just like a section of code that got like copied and pasted into a loop? And it's this just kind of free floating code that like is causing some sort of like ghostly thing to occur. I don't know. These are things I wonder about. What if even just like part of my energy got trapped and like on a loop? I don't know. I don't know, just feels like it goes with the conversation, but in the context of past lives, parallel lives, time not being linear, everything happening at one time, I feel empathy. Now, don't get me wrong, don't misquote me on this. I do not support trans for children. I do not support my tax dollars being used for trans people, but sometimes I wonder if like the person who is here that feels like they're someone else, if like they're just either like embodying the energy from like a past or parallel life, or if they like are connected to that in some way that they like couldn't disconnect into this one. I feel empathy in that way sometimes, that like I wonder, like, because if I believe in the multiverse and I believe in past lives, like this is my favorite avatar, I promise, thus far. But it would be naive of me to assume that like I was a black-haired, goth girl in every timeline. There would be times in which I'd be men and like all different variations. So sometimes I just wonder if like energy could be trapped or you could be kind of connected in that way. Anyways, I don't know what a ghost is. Do I believe in the possibility of everything? Yes. I wouldn't mind a little like ghostly situation though. Like, if you're out there, Mr. Ghost, if you're listening, come haunt me. No, don't come haunt me. Just come say hi. You know? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Okay, let's take a little sip. Let's take a little puff now too. A little puff puff the magic dragon. Somebody said my wet dreams feel real as fuck. I know Cheney and I have talked about this before, but I've only had maybe a handful of these in my life, but when I've had an orgasm in a dream, it's like the most mind-blowing thing ever. I wish there was an ability to control those. I don't know what a wet dream is like for a man, but tippy top tier in women, for me at least. Anyways, what are we doing tomorrow night? What are you doing for New Year's? I'm going to go see Widespread Panic. And I think I'm going to take some mushrooms. Like, I've been taking some like baby doses of mushrooms. I think I'm going to take a larger dose. I also think I might do a candy flip and roll a little, but I haven't rolled before. But I just want to go and like dance my face off, which I haven't danced in a long time like that. Without a care in the world. Sadly, I don't think I will have a New Year's kiss. You know what would be interesting? If I ran venues. I think in every venue, wouldn't it be interesting if there was like a designated single section for like individuals that would be buying single tickets, and like you would go into that, like, say, damn it, I gotta stop doing that. You would go and like everyone in that section would have to be single to buy a ticket. Like you would be pledging that at least. And like how fun would that be to like be at a concert and know that everyone around you is single and not have to like think about it or worry about it? I just think that would be fun. Maybe I should travel, you know. What if I took the podcast on the road, did like 2 days in each city, one day being a live podcast, whatever the fuck that looks like. Maybe I become a comedy special. And then the next night or the night before is like a speed dating event. Wouldn't that be funny? Somebody figure out how to do all of that for me and let me know. Would you come? Would you come? Cheers. Okay. What is next on our list? We talked about dog hair, ghost, strange things at home, reoccurring dreams, mushrooms, and light language. I also want to tell you I'm putting cherries on the timeline. I'm going to bring back the timeline game of the week. We put astronauts on the timeline yesterday, but today I have just been feeling the cherries a little bit. So I'm going to put cherries on the timeline for you, baby. What else? I just have some like really strange thoughts that I can share with you that I put on here. Cheney, do you want to come on? I didn't know if you were still in here. If you want to, I don't know how to invite you, but I'll try to figure it out. Because I did this through YouTube and not through Zoom this time. But anyways, this is just a weird thought I was having. I know it's probably not good that I have perfume. I've like heard bad things about them, but I just love my perfume. My mom actually had the perfume first. I wear Burberry Brit. They don't make it anymore, so I have to buy it at places like TJ Maxx. But my mom actually wore it first, and then I started wearing it as well. And it's funny, I still wear it now, but like it smelled differently on both of us. And she doesn't wear it anymore. And every time I wear it, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you smell so good. What are you wearing?" And I'm like, it's Burberry. It's the same one." Anyways, do you ever like my perfume? Like, I like the way that it smells on me, but sometimes when it gets wet, or like if my skin gets wet and I have perfume on it, it smells differently. This is such a strange thing now that I say it out loud. But I just had the thought that my perfume smells differently, like better after it's been exposed to water. And I just wanted to tell that to you. These sound a lot better in my head when I write them down. Somebody asked, how old is my madre? My mare will be 64 in January. My little Capricorn. My Scorpio does not mesh well with Capricorn, you know? My whole life. My mom would go, "That Scorpio tail, it'll zing ya." But that was not very nice of her. Okay. So we've talked about that. Okay. things that are coming up. Horoscopes are not psyops. If anything, your astrology in your birth chart is a representation of your code in the simulation. And if you can like get past the bullshit notion that like fucking everything is satanic, if you're in that line of thinking, and recognize that the sim is run on code and the sim is run on rules and they need explanations for certain parts of the code, and you can recognize the loops that exist, then you can be like JP Morgan, who said millionaires do not use astrology but billionaires do. So the like, oh my God, everything is satanic. I just can't. Okay. Let's chat about a couple of housekeeping things. Maybe you'll give me some thoughts in the chat or some more questions you want to talk about. January 1st, I'm starting the Sober Social Club for anyone interested in. It does not have to be all alcohol or weed. It could be like any, like somebody asked me about cigarettes and I was like, if you're giving up a vice and you just like want to join like a little support group about it, there is a group of us that are going to do that. That is going to be offered a $5 cover charge. For that $5 cover charge, you are going to get access through Patreon to a private chat that is going to be all the people involved. And then we're going to do private chats there that has both an audio and a visual component. We're also going to do a weekly Zoom meeting for anybody who wanted to join. So that wouldn't just be me talking, that would be you guys. And obviously within the context of the Telegram, I'm going to set it up that like you guys could have audio chats as well, like in my absence. There's going to be some special podcast that will just come from Sober Social Club. There's going to be some guided meditations. There's going to just be some cool stuff that I am setting up there. I'm doing the cover charge to like kind of keep out the riffraff. So I hope that that doesn't bother you and you understand why that's necessary. But I hope you'll join. I think it will be really fun. I think it, in like the context of like, I talk about wanting to create this app all the time, and I just unfortunately don't have the money for that at this juncture. But I think it would be really nice to create like a kind of a niche community within the class community. And I think something like this just kind of helps vet ourselves and like figure out really who's on like the right path, and like these are the type of people that will be like changing things moving forward in my mind a little bit. But I will have the link to sign up for Sober Social Club tomorrow, and then that will begin on January 1st. You could obviously join at any time if you're watching this later in time. Don't get it twisted in any way. Like I don't know what I mean. I guess what I'm really saying that like I've been on this journey recently. Like obviously like I smoked weed tonight and I'm drinking champagne like as we speak. I have been on a journey with alcohol over the last couple of years and have cut down my intake probably like 90 or 95% comparatively. And it's just such a thing that I do, like I love being able to like go to a restaurant and have a really nice dinner and drink a really nice glass of wine and sit and be by myself and have this kind of like fabulous time by myself and have my headphones in and be listening to my music, and I get to like slip into like Maria mode and play with you guys. That's like literally my favorite thing to do in the entire world, is take myself out to do that. And often that involves drinking. And so I just need to, like, detach from that and realize that, like, I could still sit at the bar if I wanted to and, like, just have water and still do the same thing that I'm doing. I don't know. It's been a long time. It's been really there hasn't been a month in my life since I really started drinking, and I kinda I drank a little bit in high school, but really, I guess, post law school, getting into, like, 9 to 5 bullshit work mode, like, there hasn't been a time when I haven't drank for a month in many, many years. And I used to remember, hearing about people do Whole30 and just thinking how silly and crazy and stupid that was, and, like, how could anyone not drink for a month? And, like, now thinking that I even used to ask myself that, like, I don't know. I wanna be able to control myself, and I have there's a thing for me about spirits and casting spells and detaching from yourself, and I don't know that I'm gonna do weed for the entire month. I'm gonna try, but I'm definitely going to attempt to break away more from alcohol than I have been in the past. Brandon Harsh asked me, "Have you ever listened to binary waves?" And I have the app called Binaural Beats, I think. Let me make sure. Oh, I have an app called Brainwave that I absolutely love. I think I might have paid for this. I can't recall. It's been a long time, but the little picture says Brainwave and then it says 35 binaural programs, and it has all sorts of things that you can do, like the programs espresso shot, critical thinking, problem solving, brainstorm, creativity boost, euphoria, stress reduction, anger relief, reduce anxiety, like theta waves, all sorts of different things. I listen to this all the time. I love it. I love listening to, like, brown noise. Like, there's white noise, there's pink noise, there's brown noise. I listen to brown noise a lot, but I like some binaural beats. I'm here for that for sure. I always turn, like, the ambiance all the way down, and I just like to listen to, like, the actual intense, like, beat of it. That just, the name of the app is Brainwave, but, like, on the picture of the app, it says Brainwave 35 binaural programs. Highly recommend. And then I have Simply Noise that I use sometimes when I sleep. But I have a white noise machine, and that is the chef's kiss. Also, this is a weird recommendation, but I have been an insomniac for most of my life, so I'm always here for the sleep tricks and recommendations. And I highly recommend a white noise machine and earplugs. You should have earplugs all the time. Your phone will still go off, you'll still hear it, but it takes out all the little noises that wake you up, and truly earplugs are like, you need them for sound sleep. It's my new hot take. Hot take. Hot potato. Hot potato. Okay. So, we talked about Sober Social Club. In the other discussion of content, I'm trying to figure out how I can do this more, how I can give you more. I'm trying to figure out how I can balance that with having a life. But I'm also thinking about how this can be my job at some point. And then I don't know what people like or what people want. And I feel very comfortable sharing a lot of weird stuff about myself. So now that I'm not shadow banned, and for the first time in my life I have been doxxed and I'm here and I'm okay with being myself. I've been, like, trying to, like, skirt the line of, like, having this account and then also showing you a little bit more behind the scenes, and I feel a little cringe when I do that a lot, and like I was saying earlier, I literally film so many things that I think are funny, but then I don't post them, and so many pictures, and, like, I would, like, think about showing you, like, what I might be wearing or something I might be purchasing or, like, me being weird at a thrift store, and I just don't know where that line is. So, I since I'm putting, like, Sober Social Club on the Patreon to sign up for, just because I was, like, thinking about doing it, and then, like, you sending me a Venmo, and that just seems like too much. It just, like, it's just too much that way. It's not clean and organized. So, I am going to bring back the Patreon. I did it very briefly at the time, a long time ago, pre-podcast, when I thought I would just put the podcast there. Nah, it's not how it works. But I'm going to bring, like, a Patreon tier where you could go a little deeper if you were interested, and so I would probably have 4 videos a month. You would get an extra video a week, which would be more personal and different and, something that's not going everywhere else. There would be a new kind of private chat, like a Maria After Dark. That would be people that were in the Patreon only, and, then I also thought about, I don't know if you're on Instagram or not, if you consume anything about me, Instagram is probably the application that I feel, like, the most comfortable in, and I share the most. Like, if you follow me on Twitter, that's great, I love you so much. I'm almost close to 10,000, but I just feel very limited there. So, my stories are very chaotic, you know that if you follow me there, but, Instagram has this, what am I trying to say? Instagram has a feature called the close friends story, so I think a component of being a member of my Patreon would also be that you're on I would add you to the close friends story if you have an Instagram. Oh, goddamn. So you would get to see some, like, weirder behind the scenes me stuff. If that's something that you're interested in, that's going to be online live tomorrow or January 1st as well. I'm gonna try to make that go live on January 1st. So, if you love this weird ass, you know, as much as I wanna make an OnlyFans, it's probably not good for my future potential political career. So, we won't do OnlyFans, but we will do Patreon and, private group chat. Brandon Harsh is suggesting it would be, it would be lots more features for a small nominal fee of probably like $7.77. And then I might have some crazy other tiers if you were interested in it where we could have some one-on-one time, baby. You know? Anyways, that's coming. I just wanted to introduce social Sober Social Club and the idea of the Patreon so I can stop feeling so damn cringe-worthy when I make content, and I don't know if you're gonna like it or not. Okay? Okay, dear? Damn, we've been hanging out for 2 hours. Alright. That's everything, on my list, but for oh, no, we got some more stuff. I should have probably brought this up earlier, so I won't make an entire conversation on it. Maybe it's something that you could think about and we could talk about when we get back together. But I was talking, and this will come up here in a second when we talk about men coming out of the cobwebs, if you're interested in a little dating update. But I was talking to my friend, Mr. California, and we were having a conversation, and I was telling him how I consider our generation normally being about 25 years. I don't know exactly where and how to begin and end the definition of that, but there is a generation that I call like the children of the internet, and we are distinct, and there will never be anyone else like us again because we were there before the technology. We experienced the growth of technology, and we now see the people who have only been born into technology. So we're different than the ones before us in that we grew up with it and we have the ability to assimilate to like any basically like piece of technology that's handed to us. We have the ability to assimilate to that immediately. Whereas the generation before us is unable to do that. The generation after us is obviously able to do that. But nobody knows it like we do. Nobody knows it before and after, and nobody will ever be like us again. And that leads me into this discussion that I like to have at times. And it's something that I wanted to ask to my mom as well when I interview her, that like I grew up in this wonderful neighborhood. I grew up in this wonderful neighborhood, and it was that place where like we ran free from like any time in the morning until the lights came on and the sun was going down. And my mom would drop us off at the pool. Not rich mansions at all. Three eyes. They're very like modest homes. Very, very modest homes now. But there was like a pool in the neighborhood, and my mom would drop us off there, and like we would watch ourselves all day long. And even at nighttime, like we would go play in the woods and on the golf course and go swim in the pool late at night and sneak in and all of these different things. So my question to you is like, when did that change? And maybe those of you who like have kids might know this better than those of us who don't, but like, what year did that stop being a possibility? Like, what year did that change for kids? I always wonder, you know? I was born in 87. I just turned 35, and I mean, I was still out playing in middle school. So that would have been 2002 because I was in high school from 2002 to 2006. A lot of people I think sometimes say 9/11, but like before we had cars, like we were still running around all the time. So I don't know. When did that change? When did that change? I want to get you on here, Cheney, but like I don't know how to invite you. How do we do it? No, that's not what I want to do. I don't know what to do, Cheney. I don't know how to invite you. Like, doesn't give me any option, but if you wanted to call me, I would. Hold on, maybe I found something. No, I don't know. I don't know that I can add anyone else at this time. But again, if you call me, baby, I'll put you on the mic. If you call. Okay, sorry. Singing in my head. Anyways, okay. Let's do a cobweb update because I don't know if it's the retrograde, but I have the weirdest men coming out of the cobwebs. Mercury is in retrograde, but Mr. California is back with a fucking vengeance. Like, Cheney, I haven't told you this yet because we haven't talked, but Mr. California and I loved to, you know this part. You'll know the parts I haven't told you, so sorry. Mr. California and I loved to FaceTime, and we would FaceTime for hours and hours, like driving, me at the mall, me at the grocery store, running errands, like just craziness. And I still, like, I would want to do that with somebody that I was like super duper interesting in, but like after I've made the pivot away from you and like the butterflies are gone and the like that je ne sais quoi, that like moment that once the magic is gone, like it'll never come back for me. So he's been reaching out to me again and it's just so crazy. Shit, he started telling me he loves me again, Shaney. Every time we get off, he's like saying, I love you. And I was just like, thanks. Like, I have this thing, this like pact with myself that I no longer apologize. I no longer put apology words around things that I am not sorry for. So when somebody asks me for money on the street, I just say no. No is a full sentence. And I don't say, I'm sorry, I just have cards, or I'm sorry this, I'm sorry that. I just say it. So I feel that way about now when somebody's telling me that I love you, and I don't want to say I'm sorry, but I also just want, I don't know. It's just too much. Too fucking much. Can't take it anymore. I matched with a guy in Jackson Hole in October 2020 and nothing happened. Like, we just made out, and that guy texted me this week and like tried to accelerate an interaction between us and like wants to come visit me at the end of the January, and then was like asking for nudes, and I didn't want to send him a nude, and he asked me all damn day over and over and over again. And finally I was like, I'm not sending you a nude and you're making me uncomfortable. I don't know why you think we get to accelerate into this part of a relationship when I haven't talked to you in 2.5 years. There's just something about this day and age, and there's just no true like courting anymore. And not that I want to use the word like rhetoric or banter, but like the art of the conversation just is gone. Somebody said, "Y'all are adults, so don't be shy." He wanted like a very specific picture of a very specific part of myself. I was just like, dude, I'm at the office. Even if I wanted to send this to you, like, this is not that time. But there's just something about dating applications that take, I don't know, the art of the conversation from like 0 to like -47, it seems. And it's so accelerated to a sexual point where like you're immediately talking about like your likes and your dislikes and your wants and your like things that you don't want. You're exchanging nudes and like it just like you know so much about each other before you've even met. It's just very interesting the way that it all shakes out these days, you know? Some Brandon Harsh said, "Maria, that sounds like a bad Facebook Marketplace exchange." Actual correction, some Craigslist response while trying to sell something in 2004. I miss the days of I could tell you guys a wild story right now. I think I maybe told it before, but I'll tell it again. I have a follow-up to it now. I'm, again, the strangest person you'll ever meet, but I never participated, so don't take it the wrong way, but I used to love reading the casual encounters on Craigslist. Love it. Like, I wanted to see who was, like, fucking down to fuck, and I loved reading that shit, which then obviously parlayed into I loved reading the missed or the casual encounters and the missed connections. And then after all the Backpage stuff and, like, Trump started to take some of the internet trafficking websites down, the Craigslist removed the casual encounter section from the website. So then I was just left with missed connections. And I I always like would go to the missed connections and kind of hoped that like one day one of them was going to be about me. So if you know me, you know that I'm literally always looking for love. Always looking for love and literally when I see somebody new I'm like, "Are you my soulmate? Are you my mother? Are you my soulmate?" Cheney's actually taken that book, Are You My Mother, and made me a meme with it that says, Are you my soulmate? So I'm just always like, I could be having my perfect meet cute at any moment. Okay. And I was driving Peyton around the lake recently. Not recently, I guess this was in the summer. And I had the windows down and I had the volume up and I was singing and driving and Peyton was hanging out the window. And I was at this light and I had my like arm out and I looked over and the lane beside me was like the left turning lane. And I saw this man for like a moment and we like locked eyes and he had a hat on and I couldn't see him for very long, but obviously in that moment, I immediately thought like, "Are you my soulmate?" But I thought he looked kinda cute, but we just like we had a moment and then he had to turn and then I had to keep going, and so I turned around and I was just like, "Why not?" Like, I drove maybe half a mile and then I was like, "Let's turn around and just like see if I can find this Jeep." So I turned around, I couldn't find him. And you know what I did? I went back and I wrote myself a missed connection, and it was kinda cute, and I didn't think anything would happen, and then he read it, and he emailed me, and I thought to myself, like, "This is it. This is the meet cute that I always wanted." Unfortunately, I'm the one hunting, not the one being, like, preyed on, like, I this wasn't exactly the way I thought it was. It wasn't written about me. I had to be the one that writes it, but fine, okay. and the guy emailed me and we exchanged numbers and then we exchanged pictures and he was not cute and he was older and he was like that little bit of that like Kenny Chesney tap because he had a hat on and he didn't have any hair underneath it at all. But for a moment, I thought I had that missed connection moment I was always looking for. Then, very strangely and ironically, last month, I was talking to like a former client that I've done a bunch of things for, and we were talking about something, and he was like, I heard you met my friend so and so. And I was like, who the fuck is that? It was like, this is not ringing any bells at all. I heard y'all almost went out. And I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. He's like, didn't you meet on Craigslist? I was like, oh my God, you know the whole fucking story. This is so embarrassing. Anyways, that's how I tried to make my dreams come true on missed connections. I'm still hoping I find one about me one day. Anyways. 3 Eyes said, I'm low-key looking for myself. That's so true. I actually think that way when I go on, when I travel. Really when I do anything, especially like concerts and like events and stuff. I'm hoping that like the male version of myself, like I'm going to encounter doing something weird, like solo. At this point, to be quite honest, I don't know that I ever really wanna go to a concert with anyone again unless they're, like, diehard like me. I would never wanna go to a concert on a first date, but, like, I just like sliding in, sliding out, doing my own weird thing, like, dancing and, like, not worrying about what anything else. I think the concert is the ultimate solo date. Solo. The ultimate solo date. This is so true. DDVZZZ, I don't know how to pronounce your screen name, said, "If I ever found a good man, that y'all would never get any of this content," and that's so fucking true. Maria exists because I am so single. If I had a man that I could do things for, it would be so less. So much less. I'll never leave you though, don't worry. Somebody said that they would die. Jay Barella, I die to go to a concert by myself. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I can't tell by the way that you wrote that. But you totes goats should go to a concert by yourself. Should. Okay. What song am I singing in my head right meow? I gotta tell you what I'm listening to on repeat today. So, Up All Night by Widespread Panic is just my, like, it's so good. I can't wait to hear it tomorrow night. And I heard this song on TikTok from the band themselves, and I looked them up on Spotify, and I really like it. The song is called Darkness of the Day, and the band is called Cadalay, Cadalay. Okay, this right meow, this right here is one of the very cool things that will be a component of being a Patreon member that I can't do here on YouTube. And Cheney actually pointed this out to me today. If I can host something and I don't have to worry about putting it anywhere publicly, then we could play music and we could sit here and we could chill and I don't have to worry about copyright infringement. So I could play these songs for you. And that would just be like a nice, cool component of that level of Patreon. Do I have any other thoughts for you at this time? I'm currently working on a post. I did a subject matter podcast on CERN, defragmenting reality, and the Mandela effect this week, last week, sometime. I don't know. So I thought that my next subject matter podcast would be panda diplomacy. If you don't know, you're about to know. Did you know that the People's Republic of China uses pandas as a form of diplomacy and has since the 80s? First off, are pandas even real? We're going to talk about that. Secondly, panda diplomacy. And for a time, they gave pandas away to other countries until it changed. I don't remember the year off the top of my head. I could look at my notes. Where they then decided they would never give away a panda again, but they would lease them to other countries. It's truly fascinating. And then when you get into are pandas real or not, what's really going on there? What's really going on there? Lordy, lordy, lordy. Do we have any little bitty questions before we end here? Let's take one more little puff pass. And then I hope there is an interesting question for me in the chat. Have I been to a Lindsey Sterling concert? No, I have not. I do not know who Lindsey Sterling is. Have I seen the Pentaverate or Inside Job on Netflix? No, I have not. Me scoozy. Almost done with the bottle? Nope. Probably 3/4 of it is still there. I poured some out, remember? But just little pours. Indica or sativa, I have no room for choice. I just get whatever my dealer gives me. That's all I got. That's all I got. I don't trust government weed either. I do not purchase government weed. Ooh, somebody said, who started the Farmer's Almanac? How do we know it's really a prediction and not a plan? I mean, I think a prediction would be a plan for sure. I think that it's all I don't know. That's a good question. Prediction versus plan. Do I vote? No. Do I drink tap water? Yes. I am of the opinion that I control my universe, and if I don't want water to affect me negatively, then it won't affect me negatively. I'll be really honest with you. I honestly don't. I'll be really honest with you. I gotta stop saying that. I don't really drink a lot of water. I probably should, but I don't. And I think it's actually interesting the amount of water that I do not ingest. I think it's really interesting that the amount of things that I don't Like, I don't know if this is, crazy or not. It's just me being weird. Sometimes I did not take a sip of anything today or eat anything today until what time was that? Where did I go? 3:30? Like, literally, I didn't drink a single thing, like, no water, no sips, nothing. And, I always think that's very, like, strange. Like, I make no time to take care of myself, like, that stuff at all. But then the more you don't do it, like, the more you don't need it. I don't know. Did Sam Tripoli wake me up? Fuck no. Fuck no. I have been awake for a long time, for sure. Not, like this type of weird awake probably since, like, March 2018 when I made this account, but, I have had a very strange and open mind for most of my life. Somebody asked me, "How did I become enlightened?" I have been This is where I think my conversation with my mom would be interesting, but always I remember I've, like, questioned existence for a very long time, and learning about politics at a young age, I was, like, very interested in small government and anti-federalism and states' rights, like, I talk about that shit all the time now because it's literally stuff I've been talking about since 7th grade. I know that probably sounds silly, but I really have. So, I've been, like, really anti big government my entire life and went to law school, and here we are. So, way deep down the rabbit hole for 4 years, but I've never bought into the mainstream narrative really ever. And I was always very happy being there are times in my life that I thought I wanted to be popular and I thought I wanted to follow down very, like, silly, strange, typical loops, but for the most part, I've always been strange and unusual. You know what I mean? Cheney asked, used bookstores and antique stores, is it easier for the spirit to interact or for synchronicity to happen? Do old objects carry energy? I don't know. I think this could go into a discussion where you talk about, like, did your toys move when you weren't looking? Then we could also have a discussion, like a very much Harry Potter style Voldemort Horcrux. I think everything is made of energy. So I think that an object has its own inherent energy. Could the inherent energy of an object be manipulated by an individual so that it changed? Yes. Does an object with inherent energy have the ability to retain energy other than its own? Like, then are we having a discussion that, like, an object has, like, is all energy conscious in some way? You know, is your is your object then somewhat self-aware? So does it have the ability to retain energy around it? Would be another question. In addition to that, then do I, as the individual, have the ability to transform and have the object then retain energy other than its own in, like, a Horcrux discussion? That's interesting. So, is it easier for the spirit to interact, or synchronicity to happen. I don't think it's any easier than anything else, but I would say that a thrift store or an antique store is a place where there are a great deal of energies together that would not be together but for a place like that. So is it easier? Perhaps yes, but in the grand scheme of things, no. There's just more, there's an abundance of energy, but I don't think that makes something easier per se, if that makes sense. Does it? Does it not? Maybe. Let's see what else people have said. I love Sam too, but Sam did not wake me up. And I don't like the way that Sam claims certain people at times that he discovered them. Because, I mean, you might be the first person to know someone other than the other individuals around you, but I don't like the way that discovery contains some element of possession in some way. So, no, I woke myself up. Ultimately, that's my belief about red pills. I think you can lead a horse to water, but at the end of the day, that individual has to red pill themselves, and that's a personal decision. I don't think you can crack the eggshell, like I say, but if he or she wants to make eggs, like they're gonna have to break them themselves. So I don't think you can truly red pill anyone. I think the red pill is something that the individual has to choose to take. I also think the red pill, I like to think of it in the context of the Russian dolls. So, if we were to have a Russian doll of red pills, you take one red pill, you break it open, and then as you continue your journey, depending on where you are and what you believe and what you read and all the different things in the world, you start taking more red pills as everything goes along. And as you open your Russian doll red pills, the deeper down the rabbit hole you go, I find that eventually you come to one of your last red pills and you open it and you realize that you are the last red pill and that you were always the answer and that you are at the end of the Russian dolls. But some of you are not ready for that discussion just yet. Some of you are still waiting for someone to save you, even myself at times. Dun, dun, dun. Cheney, I wish I could invite you in here. Well, I hope you have a truly fantastic New Year, New Year's Eve, and subsequent New Year. I don't necessarily believe in New Year's resolutions per se. Oh, my eyes are a little glassy. But I do find that you should reevaluate your manifestations and what you're pushing for yourself 3 or 4 times a year. So this is a good time to do that. I think that you should write your manifestations down. I think you should write them in the present tense and a very grateful tone, as if these things have already occurred. I am so grateful that I made $1 million in 2023. I am so grateful that I met the absolute love of my life and he wasn't afraid to be with me in 2023. Blah, 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 blah. all those things that we're supposed to maybe, but here's the thing, maybe we're not manifesting anything at all. Actually, no, let me scratch that. If we wanna do this the right way, we would write all of those manifestations down. We would say how grateful we were. We would put them in the present tense. And then we would go fucking burn that letter and let it go and allow the universe to surprise and delight us. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Do I have any plans to procreate Isaac Watts? Some days, yes. Most days lately, no. I used to think I wanted to have 6 children, and then I thought 3, and now I don't know that I see that anymore in my timeline. I would just like to experience joy with the man that I'm supposed to and, like, not worry about, like, any other expectation for years. So many people I feel like get married and then it's like kid immediately. And like if that was your path, do it. I'm happy for you. But I don't know. I think I would be a great mother, but I just don't know that that is my plan in this timeline. But not yesterday, 3 days ago was my grandmother's birthday. Ooh, Pee-Pee, you're up. Is it time for me to be done? 3 days ago was my grandmother's birthday, and her name was Vincenza. And so if I ever had a child, I wanted to name her Vivian Vincenza. So that's what I would do if I did have a child, but I just don't think it's here for me because I would like to be wild and crazy and have a lot of wild sex all over the world. Like going out but also staying in. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Can you get a sneak peek of my tattoo? My new one on my neck? Sure. That would be a good thing for mymaria777 after dark. The Patreon chat. Can you see it? That's the funny thing about like the 2 tattoos that I have. I can't see them. I forget that they're there. I have that 777. I hope you could see that. I don't know if you could. And I have a butterfly over here. Not a butterfly. Yeah, a dove, not a butterfly. Sorry. So, nobody has said anything about my 777 as of yet. I don't often wear my hair up though. At least not at work. So we shall see. I think that's all I got for you. This was long. That's all I got for you, as if there was nothing else. Peyton is ready for me to feed him. I'm going to put my hat on. This is not that great on camera, I feel like, but this is my like Tommy Lee vibe. Tommy Lee vibe that I got over Christmas. So it looks better in person, I swear. Oh man. 3 eyes. What would my online course be? Tell me. I would love to set that up. Amy said she's intrigued by my 777. I wish I could tell you the whole story, but I can't. Honestly, I don't know why I selected it. 7 was one of my lucky numbers growing up. One of my I played basketball. It was my basketball number, one of them. And then my birthday is the 21st. And then in my life in numerology, I'm a number 3. So then like the 7 times the 3 is the 21. And another really weird connection that I wish I could tell you about, but I can't for now. So yeah, just weird Maria shit. But I don't really know why I wanted the tattoo back there. I just I've imagined the 777 on my neck for a really long time. And yeah. I thought it was going to be small. I wanted it to be smaller originally, but that's the smallest you could do and said it still looked good. So do. Okay. I think I gotta go. The time has come, the walrus said. Happy New Year. I hope you have the best night tomorrow. I hope all the magic in the world happens for you. If you have made it 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 47 seconds when I said that in, you are truly an elite member of the class. And to show solidarity to me and the other members of the class, to let them know that you listened to this, I will ask you to post an emoji in a public place. I like it when you DM it to me, but I like it in public because it makes people ask, what is this? And what does it mean? Somebody did that the other day with a paperclip. So I would like you to post the cherries because I'm putting cherries on the timeline. And what was the other one I was thinking of? Damn it, Janet. What's something random, guys? Let's do cherries and the golf ball. Josh Krantz, thank you so much. Cherries and golf balls. If you listened to episode 106, I love you so much. And I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful for you sticking it out with me through my thick and my thin, through Instagram, through shadow banned, not shadow banned, doing the podcast, not doing the podcast. I am so grateful for you and your attention and your loosh and your love. So I hope that you will continue with me in 2023. I hope that you will consider joining the Sober Social Club with part of your class in January. I put up a story. First, if you're not watching my stories, what the fuck are you doing? And secondly, only about 10% of you who watch my stories vote in my polls. And I hate the term grinds my gears, but y'all really want to know what grinds my gears is when you don't participate in my polls. So, all of that to say that about 350 people said that they were interested in the Sober Social Club, and I think that's fantastic. Do I think all of you will join through Patreon? Probably not, but wouldn't that be incredible if it did? That, like, we could talk to 300 people for the next month in, like, a private setting and get to know each other and connect and see what we do and vet and hang out and motivate. Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Just would be cool, okay? Thank you for your attention. Lucian love would be a good sticker. Funny, funny, funny. My little bunnies. Yes, a class within a class for sure. For sure, for sure. So I hope that you have a great New Year's, and I wish you love and abundance in 2023. Thank you so much. I love you the most. And I'll probably talk to you in like 5 fucking minutes on my story. So ciao, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Dankeschön means thank you. Never mind. All right, goodbye.